Alright, a very good morning to our lecturer, who's probably not in Malaysia right now. So, this is our presentation, Group 9, our statistics project, carried out by me, myself, Muhammad Izzaruddin Ismail, and my groupmates, Nurka Marina Shazwani, and Abdul Munir, Muhammad Abdul Munir. So, let's begin. So, the introduction, next. We are doing this experiment relating it to discrete and continuous variables. What is discrete and continuous variables? So discrete variable is a variable whose value is obtained by counting, and continuous variable is a variable whose value is obtained by measuring. Next. So the experiment. So what experiment are we doing right now? What experiment have we did? So the experiment is involving a pendulum. What is a pendulum? So a pendulum, basically, a pendulum is an entity that swings back and forth under the influence of gravity from a fixed point to another point. So it's basically a thing that swinging from one place to another, hanging out by a length of rope or massless rod. So real life examples such as you can see it in your grandfather's clocks, at the playground, as the swings, and so forth. Next. Alright, the objective of it is pointless to make an experiment without an objective. So the objective here is to understand the differences between discrete and continuous variables, to investigate the effect of mass of the time taken from a 20-degree angle swinging to a complete stationary. So next, to analyze the data gotten from the experiment and to apply linear regression from data obtained. So yeah, what have we done? It involves pendulum. We are since the experiment is about relating it to discrete and continuous variable, and we need to also relate the experiment with the syllabus. My friends will tell you about. Next. So yeah, this is the differences between each experiment about the discrete and continuous variable. So the discrete variable is the amount of object versus time, where the manipulated variable is the number of objects, or with the sensitivity of plus minus one object. So there's incremental one object to another for each and every single task. And the responding variable is the time taken, as we speak of. So next is the continuous variable, which is the length of pendulum versus time. So the manipulated variable is the length of pendulum, where we add 10 cm in each test. So the responding variable is basically the same, the time taken. Next, I will pass to my friend Nurka Marina Shazwani for the experiment conducted.
So the first experiment we conducted is number of object versus time experiment. So as we know, previously we stated that number of object is a manipulated variable, and time taken is the responding variable. Number of object is a discrete, where we can count the object, and the time taken is the continuous. So this experiment we conducted in our room. We do together, but in a room, because we have when we doing the experiment, the lab doesn't provide our apparatus that we needed. So we just do it in ourselves, the material. So as the pendulum is supposedly the string connected to the ball, but we use a box made of paper, because paper is weightless, and the string, and we just put the chair and the stick to put the string together. And then for the first experiment we use for 14 object, which is from 10 cent coin. So on each 10-cent coin, it represents 3 grams. So in each experiment, we, as stated previously, we plus with one object. So the first conducted experiment is one object, second 2 objects. So I have provided a video, the evidence that we have do the experiment. So we can play it. Supposedly it's amount 12 amount of 10-cent coin. As we can see that the swinging is still high. So the swinging is stopped until we have provided the time, and the time taken is same. No. The time taken to the swinging to stop. So the second experiment is length versus time experiment. So for this experiment, previously we for the first experiment we manipulate the mass of the object, but for this experiment we constant the object, which is the bottle with full of water. We represent 500 grams, and the length we manipulated, as we can see that for the two picture, the length is different. So for the experiment, the length is taken from 0.3 until 1.2 meter. So this is our evidence that we have conducted at this part, which is a sharp length, yes. As we can see that the swinging is slow. Can you replay it? The swinging is slow because of 500 grams. So the swing and in this experiment we take the time taken for the swinging to stop, same as the first experiment. So after this, I will pass to my friend about our challenging business.
Okay, good morning. Now we'll explain about the challenges we faced when we're doing this experiment. So we faced some confusing challenges, but here we mentioned human error. One of the challenges that we faced is when to actually stop the timer when we see the pendulum swinging. When to actually stop the timer, because when it swings, it will actually it will go slowly, and it will be confusing to see if it stopped actually or not. So this is one of the errors. And secondly is parallax error. When we see the pendulum swinging, when we put the ruler at the pendulum, we might see it in a different perspective. So we might saw it in a different perspective, which might be a wrong perspective. So this is one of the eye observing problems. And the last one is the angle. When we did the experiment, the angle was 20 degrees. So it should be 20 degrees. So when it swings, it will make a difference. But sometimes it might be 25 degrees or less than 20, and this will actually affect the experiment because actually the angle is too small, so it's hard for us to get the 20 degrees. Okay, next. Now we will try to relate the experiment to the syllabus. For one of the important topics to relate the experiment to the syllabus is linear regression. Actually, linear regression it's used to compare the independent variable to the dependent variable, and we can actually find the R squared, which is usually, if it's more than 0.995, it's better, or 95, I'm sorry. So here we can see the data or the result for the first experiment, which is the number of objects versus time. Here we tried to relate to two topics actually to the syllables. One of them is the mean and the standard deviation, and the second one is the linear regression. We can see the dots are the data we got, and the line is the linear line, or which is this y. And we also got r squared, which is 0.9924. And when we see the r squared, it's 0.9924. It's actually good. It's more than 0.595. I'm sorry. So it's actually good for the experiment. Next, this is the second experiment, which is the length versus time. We have the mean also and the standard deviation, the line and the data, y, and we have also r squared. We can see r squared is good, more than 0.9995. Okay, next. These are our references. Okay, next. So in conclusion, first of all, we started to describe and get the definitions of discrete and continuous variables. We related them to our experiment, to our two experiments, actually two part of experiments. So we then went to the explanation of the experiment and how we actually did it and our challenges. And finally, we tried to relate the topics to our syllables, to two topics actually. The first one is the linear regression, and the second one is the mean and standard deviation topic. And I think that's it. Next. Thank you all for listening, and do you have any questions? Oh, sorry, it's a video. So, okay, so no questions, I think, and yeah, thank you.